Hey guys, Leonix here with SK Gaming and joined by DoubleLift. DoubleLift and CLG has won against Team Impulse. Now, the first question I want to ask you, Kalista, first time you've been playing her in the LCS. What's your thoughts on her and like in the Blitzcrank combo on the bot lane?
Well, there's some interesting things you can do with her in Blitzcrank with Blitzcrank cooking and then you ulting, but you can do a lot of interesting things with her with pretty much any support. So the combo doesn't exactly matter as much as just the fact that Kalista is really strong right now, especially in this meta where there's a lot of fighters top lanes such as like Rumble, Irelia, and Gnar. Those champions aren't able to stick to Kalista, and the longer the fight goes, the lower chance you have of winning. She's like a time bomb in team fights where if the fight lasts a certain number of seconds, she gets a certain number of run stacks, and then she just one-shots the front line. So yeah, she's just incredibly strong right now, and I think people don't really understand the exact like what champions to play to counter her. But once they do, I expect she'll fall off without any real nerfs. Yeah, I'm just hoping that nobody really knows like what champions to play to just like hard counter her outside of lane, and then it'll be a fun time because me and Afro are really comfortable with her. And as soon as she came out, I just knew she was pretty OP.
Especially in like your first game in solo queue was like the pentakill, right?
Yeah, the first time I played her in solo queue, I felt it was very easy. Like everything about her just came really naturally to me. Like her Q is obviously just like wave clear, and then her W is like a combo of like Vayne's Silver Bolts and Ash's Hawkshot, which is ridiculous. I think all of her abilities have like multi-purpose and like hidden utility in them. So she was just a really easy champion to play, to be honest. She doesn't take very much skill, but she does take great synergy with your support.
Now this week, you got ZionSpartan back. Eventually, Scar coming down the lines. How has that changed team dynamic? Do you feel that Benny kind of performed the same way, or is it just on a whole nother level for you?
I think maybe exactly as you see on camera, Benny didn't perform. He performed well, to be honest. Like as a ringer, he performed well. I'm not gonna like discredit him or anything, but having our real roster is really important because Zion takes over a lot of the communication problems with our team, and he brings another like interesting and fresh perspective to not only team discussions but inside the game. He's like really positive, and he understands exactly how to carry the game from top lane. It's actually it's a lost trait in top laners because I feel like most of them are used to playing heavy utility, heavy tank, whatever it is, and not actually impacting the game outside of team fights. Zion has a great understanding of like pressure, and he knows when he can kill, which most top laners don't know. They play very passive, and he's just overall just a really great player. So I'm pretty excited to play with our real roster. It's like the first time in 2 months. We played I Am Clone with the jungle sub. We played first week of LCS with the top lane sub, and then soon TM there will be week 4 where Scar comes in as our real coach, and then we'll have our actual team. So I will be, I guess, looking forward to that. But for now, this will do.
Do you feel that Zion kind of like lifts the weight off of you a little bit more on the other side of the map?
Yeah, I feel very comfortable, and it puts me at more ease and like has less pressure on my gameplay when I know that I have a top laner who's going to perform well and do his job correctly. It's something where previous top laners I played with were not very consistent, and I would rely on them to do maybe one thing, but I can rely on Zion to do many things. So it's important for me that to have a top laner with not only consistency, but I guess smart play. And yeah, typically like on CLG, we've just had a top laner with one or the other, but Zion definitely has both.
Okay, so tomorrow you play against Cloud9, and that's a pretty hyped game for you. Is there anything that you kind of expecting from them? Or I know that they came out 0-2 out of week 1, so like what's the expectations for you, or do you feel comfortable going against them? I know that you guys scrim a lot.
Yeah, we do scrim Cloud9 quite a bit. I definitely think there's just a lot of respect between us. Like Sneaky and Lemon, we respect them as a bottom lane for their strengths, and they should respect us for ours. Cloud9 is an interesting team because they're so inconsistent during the regular split, but then they always pick it up during playoffs when it actually matters, or like towards the end. Maybe like playoffs is an exaggeration. They probably pick it up towards like the latter half of the split. The first half I feel from now on they will always have issues because I don't know what it is about them. Maybe they're just like a switch that must turn on for them to play well and play exactly how Cloud9 should play. But as you saw today, that is Cloud9. Like they just absolutely they absolutely stomp in the mid game. That's their biggest strength, I think, is they probably have the strongest mid game of any North American team right now. So I guess we'll have to see because I'm not exactly sure what CLG's biggest strengths are. We have a lot, but we haven't perfected them. I think Cloud9 is like a tried and true team where they know what they should do, and it's just a matter of execution for them. But for us, it's a matter of picking the right ideas and trying to understand like where do we excel? Because still to this day, like I'm not exactly sure with this roster where we excel.
Now, I know that it's a little bit early in the season, watching the other teams and obviously you performing in most of the games. Is there any other bottom lane or AD carries that you've come to admire their play maybe in this upcoming season, or is that just like anticipation for you? For instance, Team Liquid, Keith McBree filling in for Piglet. Have you guys played against Piglet or anyone else that really shines for you?
Yeah, I've played very much against Piglet, and he's all right. I think a lot of AD carries in this region are all right. None really stand out to me, to be honest. It's really hard to say because outside of lane is it's a team effort, but in lane is generally where I can gauge the skill of a player most accurately. You can always say like, wow, he had a great team fight right there, great positioning. Look at him flash, like great mechanics right there. But laning for me is like the most true test of a player's skill, and I haven't really had very much issues. Afro's great, and we just perform really well in lane against every bottom lane in this region. But looking at Europe, actually, Forg1ven is really strong. Yeah, I talked to him a lot actually online, and this was before he joined SK. I've talked to him like on and off, like while he was retired, so to speak, and wasn't in LCS for an entire year. He's a really smart player, and he's really good. I think I can learn a lot from watching him.
Now, you talk about Forg1ven and all the other EU players, I guess, right? So, in NA, no other AD carry kind of stands out for you, but in EU, Forg1ven, is there anyone else?
No, there's nobody else in EU. I think me and Forg1ven are the top 2 Western ADs right now.
Do you feel that you guys kind of mimic your playstyles a little bit, or have you been watching him in particular and it's like, oh, this guy's like really good, or?
Yeah, I think actually, to be honest, I've only watched 3 out of his 4 games, but in the 3 games that I have seen from him, he plays really well, and from talking to him online, he's a really smart guy. I was really surprised because there was a lot of evidence showing like he was going to go to NA to play this split, and I was really surprised when teams turned him down because he's such a great talent. Every AD carry, I'm not going to like downplay every AD carry. They'll play well in their own way. Like Sneaky's very good in his own way, and Wildturtle's really good in his own way, and obviously Piglet is like the most penultimate carry. He will either like hard carry the game or he will do nothing. So I think everyone is strong in their own way, but if I look at it overall, I'm not really scared of anybody.
So now you've been quoted before saying, oh, this season CLG is, we expect nothing but we want results, right? So now with what you want as results, are you considered, oh, we can potentially win the split, or you're on the top tier, or how do you gauge your strength based on your roster now? Have you had a lot of time playing against and with each other?
Well, obviously we've only had a couple months playing with this roster, but expectations at this point I've had none. Sounds really sad, but like I just only look at the results from now, and I don't really care about what our team perceives our real strength to be, because to me, like, the perception of your team's strength doesn't mean anything when you test it up to playoffs results or LCS results. So yeah, it's really important to me that we perform well, just like every team. Yeah. I feel like every team will answer the same way, like, oh, I hate losing, or I want to win. Like, I just really have to emphasize, like, I really hate losing. Like, everyone wants to win and everyone hates losing, but I really, really hate losing. So I will just do everything I can in my power, and we'll have to see like what ends up, because a lot of the team direction will be headed by Skara, which a coach is something that we've never had before, and maybe it's like an element that was just what we needed. Like, it was the missing piece in like a strong team. So we have probably the strongest roster CLG's ever had, and not only that, but we have like a new dynamic with a coach. So we'll just have to see where it takes us, because we haven't really proven anything yet. I don't think losing to Team Liquid was the end of the world, and I don't think beating Team 8 or Team Impulse was a big deal at all.
Well, last question. I know that obviously you went against Team Impulse today, and you've been in the past discussing, oh, there's no team that really works well with like the communication barrier issues. Could you detect that in their play, like coming into the LAN?
Yeah, you can definitely tell just watching that game. That team doesn't know how to play when they're behind. Because when you play from behind, you have to make smart, calculated risks. It's not about taking like a proactive decision anymore. It's about, I guess, just like a game of chance. You won't come back unless you make a risky play, and it's hard to coordinate a risky play and like minimize the risk and maximize the potential gain when your team isn't all on the same page. To understand the game in the same way, you have to speak the same language. It's really hard to all understand a situation perfectly the same way with the language barriers. So that team, I guess, when they're behind, they will roll over and die a lot of the time. But when they're ahead, they might be able to pull it together just through individual skill, like raw talent. Yeah, that team, I don't know. They're new, they're fresh, and they speak 3 different languages. So I don't expect much from them this season, but maybe, or sorry, not this season, this split. Maybe towards the end of the split or next split, they'll pick it up and potentially be very good.
Any final words, Double?
Not much. Just thanks to the interview and thanks to our sponsors: Razer, Cellucor, SanDisk, iBuyPower, and NZXT. Oh, and Twitch. Thanks.
All right. That wraps up our interview with DoubleLift. Be sure to check out SK Gaming on YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you need to do to keep this content going. Other than that, till next time.